Girl, he never gave me no damn earrings. He probably gave us to Jennifer.
Okay, you'll need to be safe for this tea, because word on the streets is that Tiffany Haddish is now spreading the rumor around that her ex Common is trying to spin the block with her and hook up behind his girl Jennifer Hudson's back. Tiffany has been acting up ever since Jennifer and Common got together. But this has gone out of hand because she is now accusing Common of cheating on Jennifer. Tiffany has been on a mission to break up the couple for a hot minute, claiming that she and Common are still in love, but it looks like she's gone too far this time because Jennifer Hudson just called war on her.
I'm in a relationship that is one of the most beautiful people I ever met in life. And she's smart, she loves God, she has something real down to earth about her. She's talented, but I set my standard kind of high because she had to have an EGOT. She had to win an Oscar on her first movie. I set my standard high. She had to get her own talk show.
Oh, okay. Fiercely protective of her relationship with Common. It's because she's been through a string of rough ones before she's ready to go to bat for this one, because it actually seems to be going smoothly now. I'm not throwing shade at Jennifer or disrespecting her or anything like that. I mean, come on. She's a total legend. She's one of those rare people who've bagged a Grammy, Emmy, Oscar, and Tony, so dissing her would just be plain odd. But let's be real here, her romantic history has been a bit of a roller coaster, to put it mildly. Despite her efforts, things just haven't always worked out. Her first serious relationship was with this guy named James Peaton back in '99. When she was just 18, they stuck it out for a solid 8 years, which, considering she was navigating fame and all, is pretty darn impressive. I mean, let's face it, celebs in Hollywood seem to change partners like they change outfits, so making it through 8 years is no small feat. While she chose to keep the details of the breakup private, she did admit that it had something to do with how hectic her life was. She said, "It was my choice to break up, definitely, but it was nothing new or foreign, like nothing out of the blue, like he didn't know what was going on. It had nothing to do with my fame at all. It was not an issue pertaining to that." She went on to hint that Peyton had had an issue with her work, saying, "It is difficult with this type of lifestyle and being a strong woman and being in any type of relationship, which I've eventually come to learn when dealing with people or males at times have issues when they are with a successful woman, or even it's weird. And I mean that in general, across the board. It's something I've noticed in a lot of situations when it comes to successful women or strong women." However, she admitted that they kept in touch and were on friendly terms when we broke up. "It wasn't the fame. I don't want to put his business out there. It ain't my place to tell." And maybe that's a part of the private side to Jennifer, but it just like to give people their respect, to be honest. And he's kind of like family to this day. And I'm not going to put him on blast. I'm not going to do him like that. It didn't take Jennifer long to bounce back from her breakup with Pon. Within just a couple of months, she had a new man in her life. And let me tell you, things move at warp speed. She and Peachin called it quits late in 2007, and by early 2008, she was already cozied up with WWE wrestler David Otunga. Now their meeting was a bit unconventional. David was actually on the reality TV show I Love New York too. They didn't exactly cross paths on the show itself, but being in that Hollywood scene opened up a lot of doors for him. One of his pals thought he and Jennifer would hit it off, so they made the introduction. Turns out that friend was onto something, because sparks flew between Jennifer and David from the get-go. They started seeing each other around 2007, and boy, did things escalate quickly. Less than a year later, on Jennifer's 27th birthday in September 2008, David popped the question. They seemed like the picture-perfect couple. At least that's what we all thought. Sadly, tragedy struck not long after Jennifer said yes. Just a few weeks later, her brother-in-law took the lives of her mom, brother, and nephew. It was an unimaginable nightmare, but Jennifer had David by her side through it all. He was her rock, always there to lend a shoulder to cry on. David went above and beyond, planning trips and doing whatever he could to help Jennifer start to heal and find some solace amid the heartbreak. Later that same year, Jennifer found out she was pregnant in 2009. She welcomed their son David Jar, and suddenly they had this adorable little family unit. Fast forward to 2010, and they'd been engaged for over 2 years. Naturally, folks started wondering when the big day was finally going to arrive. Rumors swirled that they were planning to tie the knot that year. But then crickets, and the silence stretched on for another 2 years. By 2012, the speculation Elation had reached a fever pitch. David finally stepped up to set the record straight, insisting they'd already set a date, but were keeping it hush-hush. Jennifer even teased that she'd bought a dress that would steal the show. They both claimed that the reason they delayed the wedding so much was that they were waiting for justice for the murder of janitor's mom, brother, and nephew. They said that was something that was hanging over our heads for so long, and now we feel like we can finally breathe. Sigh of relief, everything is good now by 2014, and still there wasn't a peep about their wedding plans at this stage. It was pretty obvious that things weren't going too smoothly between them. David seemed to be Maya during some major moments in Jennifer's life and career. It was becoming increasingly clear that something was amiss, although they kept brushing off any speculation. But by 2017, they couldn't keep up the facade any longer and finally came clean about their split. In hindsight, there were definitely signs pointing to trouble brewing in paradise. Long before the breakup bombshell dropped, Jennifer had dropped a few hints in interviews that made the warning lights flash. She mentioned how David wasn't exactly thrilled about her shedding pounds and upping her glam game, which in hindsight should have been a pretty big red flag. Jennifer visited the Jay Leno show where she was asked, "What does your fiancé think? Does he like the new spelt you?" Jennifer responded, "He's getting adjusted to it. He's not really into change that much, so he fusses at me like, why do you have to get all dressed up to go out, and why can't you just go out like you used to?" And I'm like, I'm a walking billboard now, honey. Yeah, things got pretty messy real quick after the split, and initially it seemed like your typical we've grown apart kind of breakup. Or maybe their crazy busy schedules just got in the way, much like what happened with Jennifer's first relationship, but soon enough it became crystal clear that this was no amicable split. Nope, it was a full-blown showdown complete with legal battles, accusations, and drama galore dragging on for what felt like forever. Jennifer didn't hold back, alleging that David had treated her and their son pretty badly as things went south. She claimed he started getting all aggressive and threatening, harassing her both mentally and physically, and it didn't stop there. She accused him of being insanely jealous to the point of paranoia, but David wasn't about to take it lying down. He fired back with accusations of his own, claiming Jennifer had been stepping out on him with a bunch of different guys. And get this, he even allegedly used their own son as a pawn in his schemes, trying to get him to spy on Jennifer. I mean, seriously, things got dark real fast. Jennifer recounted this one time when she had their son with her in the studio, and David allegedly got him to record her, convinced she was getting steamy with one of her producers. Jennifer also stated that David allegedly told the boy, "Don't let your mom's boyfriend effing touch you." According to Jennifer, things took a dark turn when David started sending her some seriously scary messages. She was freaked out enough to call for security, fearing he might show up at the studio and cause trouble. Thankfully, he didn't, but the drama didn't end there. When she got home, she claimed he was waiting for her, and things got heated real quick. Allegedly, he got physical, grabbing their son and dragging her around. Not a pretty picture, to say the least. Of course, David had a totally different story to tell. According to him, Jennifer was bending the truth big time to paint herself as the victim and drum up sympathy from the courts and the public. In a statement to TMZ, his lawyer said that he denies each and every allegation Hudson has made against him, and that at no time did Mr. Otunga physically push Hudson, as she has alleged. He argued that his frustration with Jennifer stemmed from what he saw as her being a bit reckless with their son. According to him, Jennifer thought it was cool to keep their kid at a recording studio until the wee hours of a school night. All he wanted was to get the little one tucked into bed on time so he'd be fresh for school the next day. So his beef wasn't about jealousy or possessiveness, but about responsible parenting, or so he said. But that wasn't the only time Jennifer claimed he'd acted out. There was this bizarre incident where he allegedly left a gun out on the kitchen table, messing with her head in some twisted attempt at mind games. Now let's unpack this. Jennifer had been through some serious trauma involving guns in the past. I mean, her mom, brother, and nephew were all lost on the same day due to gun violence. So for him to leave a firearm laying around, like, it's no big deal. That's just downright sinister. Of course, a David legal team had a different story. They insisted he didn't even own a gun, and that the one in question was just a prop he used for an audit. According to them, he'd even told Jennifer as much when she first spotted it in their house, but Jennifer wasn't buying it. She saw it as a not-so-subtle intimidation tactic, a way for him to mess with her head without saying a word. Well, David denied the DV allegations, and his lawyers released a statement saying Mr. Otunga has never abused or harassed Miss Hudson or their son, and it is unfortunate, especially in today's climate, that she would feel the need to make these false allegations against him. Mr. Otunga looks forward to his day in court and in being awarded the residential care of the party's only child.